Okay, so it is the next day. This would be the last day for the little toddler dress. I just want to cover what we've done so far. Yesterday, we cut out, well, yeah, I cut out the pattern. The day before, I had actually cut out the pattern from the pattern material from this little Simplicity pattern. It is the S9318. It's a little swing dress, but you can make it shorter and make tops. You can make the dresses with the appliques, the pockets, or nothing. And then there's a short pattern, but I'm just making a little dress. So I cut the front and the back of the pattern yesterday. I lost the pocket pattern, but then I went and printed a pocket pattern online and used it. It had little pockets and big pockets, so the pockets end up looking like this. The pockets were sewed on. I put the interfacing on, and I did go ahead and stitch around. This is the inside of the back, but I did go ahead and stitch around the and do a pink stitch just to hold that. We did French seams on the interfacing, so there's no ravelings. French seams on the actual dress, and there's no ravelings. And I did look. I watched a tutorial on YouTube, and the interfacing takes 1.5 centimeters of seam allowance, and that's what this had. So 1/4 of an inch, stitch it down, trim it off, flip it over to the, so you start with your right sides facing out. You do a regular stitch at 1/4 of an inch, trim off the excess, so you trim off about half. You flip it over, you iron it down, and then you stitch along your wrong sides. And that gives you a finished stitch on the inside and the outside, which is known as a French seam. All right, so what I have left is to put on buttons on the, well, let's go over this hem issue. So the hem, I tried a rolling foot, and as you can see, the rolling foot worked, but the problem is in some of the areas, the rolling foot is so close. Look how close that is. That and I tried to keep it rolled. I think if it would have been a straight hem, not this curved hem on a dress, it would have worked. But in some areas, like, it popped out and it didn't catch the rolled hem, so it didn't hold. So I had went around it in pink, just 1/4 of an inch from the edge, just to hold it down. And my sister was like, well, don't take the time to take out the stitch. She's like, just don't even, and literally I caught her because I freak out. She picked out the pink for the pockets, and she said, do you have any trim? Just use the trim. So I had this trim. It's not really trim. I'm pretty for sure it's like quilt binding, but it was in an old sewing machine. So it was pressed in already on the top and the bottom. So I stitched on the top and the bottom. And my sister's like, it's fine. So it's my niece, her kid, that's going to wear it. She said it's fine. She also picked out buttons. So I had got this container of mixed buttons. And, well, I actually bought it, I think, from the Hobby Lobby. What I was going to use it for, so there's all kinds of stuff. There's like piano heart. There's just regular white hearts. We have multicolored bunch of just random weird buttons. I was just going to use it to make them bucket hats and put buttons just on the outside of the bucket hats. But we had 2 little matching yellow, so it was either these 2 yellow or it was 2 white like this. And my sister said, nope, I like the yellow, do the yellow. So I've got to put the buttons on with the picked out yellow. And I'll show you, I already have my presser foot on my sewing machine. And I've got it set. It's the 3rd, that's backwards. Oh my God. I put it on backwards. I had it on right yesterday. I put it on backwards today. I gotta fix that. So I took it off just to double check that it was the 3rd line. So I'll flip it off since, okay. So this has lines, and it is the 3rd line up that is gonna fit this. And my Shark sewing machine has a, my Shark sewing machine, so it's a little bit below the 3rd line, but you've got to take into effect, it's going to stitch to cut to, here, I'll show you. Right here, T is the button stitch. So my sewing machine has a buttonhole stitch setting, and I've got it set on T. I'm going to do a test run with my little piece of fabric here that I did my test run yesterday. I do want to show y'all something I was going to show you yesterday. This I keep, it's just a gallon baggie in a bucket to keep all my trimmings and stuff that's too little to sew with. What I plan to do eventually is just some fabric artistry, like decoupage on a canvas, or there was a lady who just took this and stitched it down in between a poly, like a sheet off of a clear. She basically just did a really wide stitch and put this down on a piece of fabric and then spread it out like in some kind of design. And then she took a poly sheet from a shower curtain that was clear, the thick one, and then just stitched it down over it. So it made it look like just thread material, but it wasn't. It was thread sandwiched between a piece of black material and a piece of polyethylene vinyl for a shower curtain. But I'm going to keep this for extra projects. So it's all of my ravelins, and then where I trimmed off my for my French seam. So that's all going to be kept for something later.